Yeah, there's a few changes going on at the minute. I know Limitless is taking over for Cloud on Rune Eaters with the match that we just saw in the Division 1. You know, he's taking over Limitless now in that off lane. I know Roger's come back. Shadow Shaman being picked up here for Empire. So there is a few shakeups going on. And this is about the time because obviously you can only use a stand-in for 4 matches, I think it is. And it just means that when you are getting to that mid-season, there could be a couple of shakeups coming through, and you do lose the points obviously for the shakeup, but it doesn't really matter for the Division 2 teams. They just want to get that synergy. They want to get the practice in, coming through into the regional qualifiers, into that maybe potential last chance qualifiers that's going to be going on right before TI. So yeah, I can see why teams, especially in the third tour, are starting to shake it up a little bit, and it's no surprise. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with this.
For sure. Team Empire now, they revealed that this Lesh most likely going to be a carry. I know that Illidan did used to play carry Lesh. It is something that people in Eastern Europe like to do. It could be an offlane Lesh though. I doubt it. The Enigma comes out. Until level 6, the Lesh doesn't deal too well with the Eidolons. Sure, the Lightning Storm, but you don't really... Ideally, you wouldn't want to max out that spell. You know, you would like to have more points in your Diabolic Edict. Now, you might be needing to at least put 2 points in the Lightning Storm. Team Empire obviously kind of putting the emphasis on winning the lane against the puck, given that they went for the Void Spirit. This is kind of a love-hate relationship, you know. Whoever starts getting ahead is going to be a problem for the other puck, though loses the lane in terms of CS, so that should give the Void Spirit a little bit of an advantage, and of course you have the Shadow Shaman, but the Enigma, without anything to cancel the BKB Black Hole, you have a Rubik on your side, puts HellRaisers in a pretty dominant position. The only problem I see for them is that their lanes might not be going that well. Rubik isn't the ideal laning partner for the Enigma, so maybe they swap it out. Maybe they send the Dawnbreaker with him. We'll see how they end up finishing off this draft.
Would you be looking for a strong offlane, maybe that gets a quick BKB, like the Mars, to come out here, because he's not banned as far as I can see, but you know, being able to get the spear off onto the Enigma before the BKB Enigma's up, and just the amount of control coming through on HellRaisers as well, you know, would you look to get like a quick BKB buy for this offlane for Team Empire?
5 seconds.
If I was Empire, I'd get something that's gonna do well in the lane. Something that is strong, that is fat, that can posture aggressively, and that can apply pressure early on, because that's what their lineup is good at. If they start snowballing, if they get the early towers, you have so much catch potential, you have so much mobility on the side of Team Empire, and you know, sure, HellRaisers, they have some mobility themselves, but when you look at Team Empire, if you win the lanes, you're gonna be the ones catching people, and HellRaisers are gonna be the ones trying to split push. So you do want to get into that kind of a scenario. So I think just get something fat. You can see that the Night Stalker and the DK have been banned. Those are kind of heroes that can stand and take it, you know, take the beating, and that is exactly something Team Empire should be looking forward to.
Well, they do have a lot of time to think about this final one as well. Just looking through HellRaisers, they've got 11 seconds left. Now, you were saying this Dawnbreaker, looking at the lineup, it looks like it, unless it's the... Do you go position 5 here and pick up you carry last on HellRaisers?
You could go that route, or you could leave her position 1. You could also put the Dawnbreaker 4 and the Rubik 5. Right now, we don't know. That is the... and neither do Team Empire. So I don't think that you should be putting much emphasis into that. Just get something that can survive pretty much any lane. So they go for the Mars. That kind of fulfills that role. It's more of an initiator, but if you go for the early BKB that you mentioned up, you can be that guy that just stands in front, and nobody can really mess with you. Most of these heroes on the side of HellRaisers do only magical damage, so you should be fine.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking before the Enigma gets that BKB as well. Obviously, the Mars, you do have some stun potential coming through from the Split Earth and the Leshrac, the Hex and the Shackles coming from the Shadow Shaman. Mars can get a spear from range as well, so you do have some options to knock out the Black Hole when it comes out from the Enigma. And like I say, it's just, and the strength heroes are kind of still running the meta in the offlane as well, so that doesn't surprise me. With the Bloodseeker, that surprises me a little bit. What do you think about this Bloodseeker coming out now on the side of HellRaisers?
I like it. It allows you to do well in the lane, probably against everyone. Shadow Shaman and the Mars, could be problematic for you just because they do so much damage. From 100 to 0, they can burst you down. So that could be a problem, especially you having a Rubik in the lane. It is going to be a position 5 Rubik, it seems like. But yeah, Bloodseeker is a great counter to the Lesh. Lesh likes to run around a lot. Great counter to the Void Spirit. None of your spells give you a 1300 range or 1301 range that you would need to actually dodge the damage from the Rupture. So neither the Lesh or the Void Spirit like playing against Seeker. I have to say, I would have liked a hero that can help you defend towers. I guess maybe Bloodseeker does fit into that role with the blood, right? You can help, but yeah, Medusa was banned. But something along those lines that can actually stand in front and be aggressive. So if enemies want to commit on you, then you use the Black Hole, you use the Coil, and you turn the fight around. Of course, with the Solar Guardian as well. Bloodseeker, on the other hand, you know, you see him, you jump him, you kill him, and that could be problematic. So all in all, looking at the drafts, if Team Empire go play the lanes well, they have stronger lanes for sure, but if they play them well, I could see them taking this one for sure.
So, I mean, looking at both lineups, I'm kind of seeing the aggression coming out from Team Empire, you know, obviously with the sustain coming through on the Wisp. I think I'm leaning to Empire. Okay, I'm going to say if the game goes for... If Empire can get a quick one, you know, if they can end in the first 30-35 minutes, I think it's their game. But I think after that, I kind of see HellRaisers, you know, the Enigma comes online, like I said, the BKB start coming out. The damage from the Bloodseeker is going to start to stack up as well. It's a tough one. I don't really know who I'm rooting for here, or who I think is going to come out on top.
That's a fair assessment for sure. You know, HellRaisers, they need to dodge it a little bit in this game. I think the ideal scenario for HellRaisers in this one is not allow yourself to get destroyed in the laning phase. I think that mostly applies to the Bloodseeker. Watson is the one that could make a few mistakes, you know, against the Mars, against the Shadow Shaman, maybe underestimating the damage that they do, die a few times, and that can be problematic because the BKB of the Bloodseeker is kind of your timing to stop the roll of Empire, and that's the thing he should be looking at. But yeah, usually when I look at the drafts, I kind of look at does one team have 2 points in the game where they are stronger that are next to each other, you know, laning phase and the early mid game, and Empire do have just that. So you could get super strong so that even when HellRaisers get their timings, they can't really fight.
Well, it looks like Empire, they're going to be able to pick up 3 bounty runes here. There's a lot of aggression coming through on the top rune in the river with Starbreaker. Oh, it looks like Illidan, he's going to be taking a lot of damage. Gilgear, though, couldn't get that Starbreaker on the mark, and it looks like, are they going to be able to chase down this? Because the Fade Bolt comes in. That's going to be a Tango being passed over to Leshrac, but he's going to be able to get himself away from this one. Gilgear, again, Starbreaker, 4 seconds on cooldown here, so it looks like Illidan just has to back himself away. And is it going to be just has to be the TPs. Yeah, he's going to have to go back to the fountain, heal up, and then just TP himself to the safe lane.
He's going to lose a full wave. Right off the bat, a good start for HellRaisers, you know. Though that is the lane that Empire are the least likely to win. They shouldn't lose it, but the Enigma and the Dawnbreaker will be taking a significant amount of farm away from Illidan. Yeah,
and on the bottom lane as well, it looks like Rubik, he's going to be taking some harass here from James, but can they turn it around? Because, you know, with the Shadow Shaman having so much higher right-click damage as well, he's going to go for the Aftershock at level 1. You can see that the Rubik, he's taking a lot of damage here, and I don't know if it's going to be, you know, if Malady can stand up to this in the lane. But over time, it's going to be going, I am pretty sure it goes the way of James, even with these Fade Bolts flying through.
It's still a problem. On one side, the Mars, you know, he can only use his spells. On the other side, Watson, he can run down the Shadow Shaman super far out. So if the Shaman and the Rubik are trading, I'd argue that that favors the side of HellRaisers, because then no one is touching the Seeker, and he'll be getting his timings right in this game.
Mid lane as well, it looks like there's a lot of damage coming through in this, you know, both Rebel as well as Squad just playing into this. And you can see, so this lane, we've talked about it before, but really the damage coming through from the Puck onto the Void Spirit. The Void Spirit can dodge off with the Dissimilate, obviously the Puck as well being able to dodge off with the Phase Shift. So looking at this lane, is it just going to be a stalemate until they start to rotate around? Or do you think one good catch here with the Remnant from the Void Spirit will be able to put the damage onto the Puck?
This is a this is a matchup that has been played so many times. So I don't think that the kill is gonna happen. It's just gonna be a stalemate with the Void Spirit getting pretty much a little bit more farm than the puck, and then you know, if the puck does make a mistake, he can die early on, but usually you just keep yourself in there. You try to keep the Void Spirit at 50% HP, and then you call for a rotation once you get level 6. That is how you ideally play this lane with the puck.
And both players going to be popping the wall through as well, just to get those bottled charges. Just looking around, we're going to see a little bit of disruption as Gilgear and BZZ in this top lane. Well, Gilgear, he does have the hammer toss now as well, so he's going to be able to get close to BZZ. And BZZ, he's going to be able to tether away to Illidan if he gets into too much trouble. But it's Gilgear. Does he want to be going for the blocks? It looks like he does. He still wants to be blocking these camps up, so it's going to be more about just annoying the IO here in terms of just blocking the camps, making sure the pulls can't come through, rather than getting aggressive on him. I think it's going to chase down though. It looks like they're going to be able to get the first blood. And yeah, I love that the players are using their actual names as well. You know, that's super helpful for the cast. But James, as well as Mero, just being able to get the chase down, and excuse me, Shasho, be able to get the chase down, and Watson just have to stand and watch.
Yeah, Watson is still okay. You don't mind your Rubik dying. The position 5 Rubik, you know, you don't really expect too much from him. Some nice steals, sure, later on in the game, but his job here is to tank up the damage, maybe die a few times so that Watson can have a clean time. Speaking about the top lane, you mentioned the camp blocks. You know, that's how you win an Enigma lane. You don't allow the enemies to pull. That is literally the only thing you need to do. So Gilgear, understanding that one, playing against the Whiffs, he knows that he's not gonna take any damage. So he pretty much understands his job perfectly.
Yeah, and I'm just looking. I mean, Shashlo here in this lane with the pulls, he's already got himself the ring of Bastion. There is going to be the hammer flying forward from Gilgear. You know, so there is a lot of damage that come through from the Malefice, you know, the lockdown from the Starbreaker as well. How does the side of Empire, how can you really deal with this? Is it just going to have to be like the big pulls like this from PZZ? But even that, you know, you put yourself in a position where if you're trying to farm these other, I mean, the creeps pull through, you know, you're going to be completely out of position in this lane.
Well, you know, you have an IO with a headdress, so him and the Lash should be okay. You know that you're going to be putting yourself out of position as soon as you see the Eidolons kind of multiply. You get away from them, and when there's only 3 of them, you know that you should be able to survive the damage. So overall, you know, Empire are doing what they can in this lane, and what they can and should be doing is just getting more and more farm in the Lash.
Yeah, and you can see, like you said, that Illidan, he's not even put any points into Lightning. He wants the points here into the Diabolic Edict, you know, for the, I suppose, the push potential, the tower taking potential as well when it comes into it a little bit later on into this lane. But it does mean that when these Eidolons start to come out, you know, they're going to be able to get these denies off onto the to the Radiant creeps as well. They're going to be able to push this lane in and get aggressive, you know, like I say, just start to put the pressure onto this lane. So...
ballsy move from him, to be honest. I expected 1 or 2 points in Lightning Storm at least to deal with the Eidolons, but he wants to push. So we are probably looking at Illidan wanting to make a rotation pretty early on towards the bottom lane. We'll see if that's the case, but you know, the Eidolons spreading the damage from Diabolic Edict, you really don't do anything to them.
Yeah, and well, let's see where Gilgear's going to go. It looks like he's just going to go and try and secure this top rune if it spawns there, but it does spawn at the bottom, so that's going to be a double damage rune here for the Rabel in this on Team Empire. And okay, so with this double damage rune here now as well, he's level 6, he's got his TP up. Do you want to see him go for any rotations? You know, maybe look for a gank onto Watson on the bottom lane, or is this purely just, you've secured the rune, you know, it's going to give you a little bit of a boost in the lane, but just still sit and farm on this lane. Oh, top lane low, let's say Illidan, he got really low. BZZ was able to provide the regen.
Before the siege creep is gone in the mid lane, which is going to be now, Squadix is not going to move now. He can look to make a rotation. Top lane would be ideal. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so Squad's going to be coming in. He pops that double damage rune. Does he want to go for that? He's going to be able to go for the Astral Step coming through. Is that round to get the call back now as well to Gilga? He's going to miss it. Oh, he still gets the second Astral Step forward now as well, but there is going to be the rotation. 2 heroes. Starbreaking comes out from Gilga.
Here comes Rabel.
The Dream Call with Rabel now as well, and it looks like Void Spirit not going to be able to get himself away from this one with the silence. The Astral Step still being down. Does he have the regen coming through from BZZ to keep him alive? Whereas they don't have any gap close on the side of HellRaisers just yet. It doesn't look like BZZ, the Malphite on him to slow him down. But yeah, Squad is going to be able to heal himself up, get that bottle off as well with the bounty rune, so it's going to be an extra couple of charges here, and Void Spirit just rotates himself back in, but there is going to be the rotation around here, and it looks like in the mid lane from HellRaisers, it's going to be Marty as well. Does he want to dive onto him? There's going to be the drag back onto the puck. Do they have the damage to take him down? The orb comes through. They are going to be able to get the kill though, and now Marty is left alone, but no spells left here for Squad to get that dive onto him, so he should be alright underneath this tier 1 tower.
Beautiful rotation there in the end for Empire, you know. When a rotation is so good, the enemies are gonna predict that it can be made. So you saw HellRaisers being a little bit defensive there, knowing that the enemy has the has rune, and they set it up perfectly. The thing is, what are you gonna do after you've done that, knowing that you can't stay on the top lane? It's not gonna be a good spot for you. Squadex starts running mid, and so does James, so they get a really big pick off in the end. That rotation from Empire that started off in the top lane really does pay off big time. The problem, of course, now lies in the Lash. How does he stay in this lane against the black hole? If he gets close, he's just dead.
Yeah, and there is follow-up stones coming through from the start, or even a setup stone really, with that Starbreak. You know, you get the Celestial Hammer thrown off. What's the distance on that? And then the slow, so it's level 3, so there is that slow coming through on it as well. So it's going to be really hard for Lesh just to try and prance his way away from the danger if he does get caught out.
Right now, ideally for Empire, you don't want to be diving any heroes. Ideally, you would want to dive Watson, but not until you force a puck rotation. So right now, what Empire are going to be looking to do is force out the puck rotation without any casualties, or force the puck to use the Dream Coil in the mid lane, which is going to be very unlikely to happen. So Empire, it's on them to make moves. We already talked about it. They have a strong laning phase, and they have a strong early mid game. If you don't use it now, once the Seeker gets a BKB, it's going to be problematic for you.
Look at this farm here for Illidan as well. You can see that Gilga is staying close. You know, he might be able to sap something from this. Even going to be the rotation coming through. Are they going to be able to do anything about this though? Because these, yeah, I think it was a triple stack for both camps. Do they want to go for the Dream Call here? They might be able to lock down Illidan. But there is going to be a massive rotation. The Astral Step comes through here. Can they do the damage? It looks like Gilga might go down, will go down. And yeah, I don't know. I guess they weren't ready for the aggression, and that's why we didn't see Rabel using the Dream Coil though.
This is okay for HellRaisers. The idea is you invade. Empire uses their TPs, thus they cannot be super aggressive on you. Even if Lash would want to go somewhere to push right now, it's not gonna be possible for him. But ideally, you know, Illidan needs a little bit more time. You are paired up with the Wisp. Usually, when that is the case, the carry needs a little bit more time to get those levels up. And for Lash, levels are pretty much all the thing that he needs.
Top lane, they might be able to make another move. Can they do the damage here though? Illidan just has to back himself away. I mean, he's using Pulse now, but the Black Hole, it catches the IO now as well. The Solar Guardian coming through, they have the damage with the rotation on the perk. The Dream Call comes out. Really good couple of kills. And the Tether, it just put the IO in the Black Hole to his doom.
If you're not gonna make a rotation, we will. That's the plan for HellRaisers. They were patient, and like, Empire are not doing anything, okay? Let's go for it. They're gonna be surprised by it. And Empire now, they're trying to make a move, but it should be obvious. Watson, is he really gonna get caught by this? No, Rubik is there.
Yeah, they catch out it's gonna be a decent kill onto the Rubik at least, and, well, maybe not as a spear. Oh, skin of his teeth. But Mars wasn't able to hit that. And Watson just gets a quick TP out.
That should have been a obvious rotation for HellRaisers, but it was actually quite close for Watson to die. So he gets himself out in the end. Empire with this rotation though, they will get the tower. I guess the idea from HellRaisers is maybe we can bring in more heroes to defend this one, but that wasn't even the arena used. So imagine if they brought more heroes without the coil, without the black hole, it would have ended really badly for them. Empire, though, they got what they came for, and the main thing was that tower. They needed it to fall as fast as possible.
And look at this as well. The Enigma's just going to go straight for the Wraith Pact. Oh. Okay, bottom lane. Arena being used to get a kill into Gilgir. So, you can see the Mars here as well. The Mars has just stepped up. He's gone for the 2 braces. Going to be going back for the BKB now as well.
This is the thing that we were talking about, you know. HellRaisers, they do want to split push a little bit. They want to use their mobility, especially from the Dawnbreaker having that Solar Guardian. But the catch from Empire is just a tad bit better right now. So that's something that they're gonna be using, and they are keeping the Wisp with Illidan on the top lane, making sure that their big jungle doesn't get overtaken. So this is kind of the idea of the Empire draft now working out. The only thing that they're not getting is a little bit more in the kill department, but that's just because HellRaisers are really positioning themselves nicely on the map so far.
Yeah, and looking at this Puck now as well, the Puck's going to be able to get that Witchblade up pretty soon. And how far? 230 off, so he's going to be able to clear off this creep wave, maybe a neutral camp to be able to pick this one up. And the rotation's already starting to come out. You know, the black hole is up in another 46 seconds for the Enigma. They've got the pressure on. They've got themselves. They're a couple of kills behind the side of Empire, but HellRaisers now. Is this where they want to start to they've already really been creating space for Watson here on the Bloodseeker, but is this where they just look to shut down Illidan, make sure he gets nothing out of the jungle farm that he's looking for at the minute?
Oh yeah, ideally I would love to do it. I just don't see them doing that. The most you can do is take over this top part of the map. The problem, of course, comes from movements like this. Empire, they are very good at catching Miero.
James with the Tumbler's Toy is going to be able to get the Hex off. They've got the Serpent Wands now as well. They're going to be able to get the Solar Guardian coming through. Though, can we do anything from this with the Midnight Pulse being down now as well? Can they do the damage onto Illidan with these Serpent Wands still doing damage? It looks like the Enigma has to run away, but it is still going to be 3 kills going the way of HellRaisers. I mean,
the burst lacking.
Yeah, well,
the burst lacking for sure.
I was talking about the invade onto Illidan, but you don't really need to do it when he's going to come to you.
Yep. He came to them there and just walked into the Solar Guardian. After this one, HellRaisers are going to be super happy because they've overtaken the top part of the map, and they've also forced Empire to fight. Empire just lacking the damage there. After the Lash got caught, they weren't doing anything. HellRaisers taking this tower means that they'll be able to pressure the mid lane and constantly force Empire around this mid lane. This is something that Empire doesn't want to do. They want to spread the map and catch people, and that's just not going to be easy with the tower being going down this early on.
Yeah, and you can see that the Mars, I mean, going towards that BKB, but that's going to be cutting the engagement short because he's not going to have a Blink Dagger. He's not going to be able to initiate. And looking at, has he gone for? So yeah, so the Enigma, he's going to go back after the Wraith Pact for that Blink Dagger. And I think he's going to be a little bit ahead. Well, he is going to be a little bit ahead because the Mars still not completely there, about halfway in terms of gold and items towards that BKB. So, you know, the initiation, it looks like HellRaisers are going to be able to get that jump again. Speaking about getting the jump, James, is he going to be seen now? The Eidolons will see him now as well. The Tumbler's Toy comes through. Is there going to be the follow-up from that Puck? I mean, the Dream Coil is there. Squad's going to be able to move himself away from this.
The Mars came top. Shachlo, this is not the ideal position for him. If they're not killing Gilgir on the bottom lane, they're gonna be in so much trouble. You don't have the damage on Empire right now to kill anyone on HellRaisers. You have to kill Gilgir first. If there's a Solar Guardian and the mech, everyone will survive.
Yeah, the Solar Guardian's going to come through. I think he'll be able to keep him alive here. It looks like the Enigma, he's got that black hole. Does he want to throw it out? He's going to be able to catch 2 of them here now as well. And it is going to be the Void Spirit as well as that Mars. The damage. Even going to be Watson. A Hero Eruption coming through. James is going to get pretty darn low after dropping these Serpent Walls. It looks like he's going to be a full 5-man wipe. And just cleaning up on the side of HellRaisers.
I'm not sure how Empire didn't understand that they just don't have the damage. Wraith Pact, the Solar Guardian, and the mech. Just perfect itemization coming out from HellRaisers, and this is the... I guess Empire understand that this is their timing but when you can't kill the enemies, you have to find other ways to play the map. They just didn't do so, and now they lose a big team fight. They're gonna be losing Roche. I don't see Empire getting here in time, and this is a problem. We talked about it, you know, Rob, in the early mid game for Empire. They've dropped the ball in it, and now it's not gonna be that hard for HellRaisers to really get to their timings. The BKB on the Seeker, the Blink BKB on the Enigma. That's where the game becomes, I'd say, almost impossible for Empire. So I don't want them to stop going forward just yet. Just change the approach a little bit. Catching the Dawnbreaker on the bottom lane should be of the utmost priority for them.
Yeah, and I'm just looking again. I mean, Bloodseeker's going towards his BKB here now as well. The Growth Bow does get dropped, so that's going to be nice for... do you give that to the Puck? I think you do, right? The Enigma can look for some utility. And the tier 2's coming out, and the Puck having that extra attack distance goes nice with the Witchblade.
Yeah, for sure it does.
But yeah, no, just looking at this, you can see Enigma rotating around. He's about 500-ish gold, if that, off getting the Blink Dagger. He's 95 seconds off the Black Hole coming back up as well. He's putting pressure through, being protected on the bottom lane. Are they going to be able to kill Gilgir? They will be able to. So that's nice, but it's a position 4. Whereas, you know, the protection's coming through from the cores on the side of HellRaisers. You know, all these cores feel comfortable in this match.
This could be dangerous for Empire because he has a buyback. So HellRaisers, if they want to, if they can make that call, they can come towards the mid lane. Okay, Empire are not gonna risk it. You know, in this kind of scenario, it might feel ideal. The enemies, they don't really have a lot of resources, even though they have the Aegis. Let's try pushing the tower and forcing them there. But, you know, considering that the Dawnbreaker had the buyback, that could have ended really badly. Still, from that kill, Empire, they get nothing. They're just delaying this Aegis timing, but I don't think HellRaisers are gonna be looking to do much with it. They don't really have to at this point.
I don't know. Well, there is going to be a TP. It's going to be the Dream Call as well as the Soul Guardian, so they're going to be able to take down the Shadow Shaman to get now into the Void Spirit. But there is going to be... Is that a Rubik Arena? It is!
That's really bad for Empire. There isn't a place on the map that they control. Sure, you're farming insanely fast with the Lesh, and whenever it's farm fest for Illidan, you are lowering the gold lead. But the strength of HellRaisers is increasing this whole time, and now even with the BKB on the Mars, now is the timing. You know, there is no Solar Guardian. Even if the Black Hole is coming out, you have the Aghanim Scepter and the Void Spirit to cancel it. So I think if there was ever a time for Empire to go in, this is the time. This is the time they will have the damage, because there is no Solar Guardian. When that spell is up, I just wouldn't want to be in the place of Empire right now.
Yeah, and I want to revise my prediction. Obviously, I was saying that Empire had the first 30 to 35 minutes to really make an impact here. At this rate, if they don't make an impact, I'm going to say by the 20-25 minute mark, excuse me, the 25-30 minute mark, it's going to be over for them. Because HellRaisers, I know they had like a later game time, and they've just stepped up with these rotations. And they're even going to be able to get more out of this now as well. The Dream Call comes out, catching out the IO as well as the Shrag. Do they have enough damage with the Blood Right coming through now as well? They're going to be able to kill off the IO, so no relocate out of this. Leshrac has that TP, but no BKB. Yeah, they have the telekinesis coming through now as well. And Illidan, well, he was not prepared for this fight. Gets taken down. And
oh, that's a really good one.
Yeah, I'll get it in somewhere.
yeah, I knew you could do it. Sorry that I messed it up in the drafting phase, but now you will finally get it. Empire, though, they are preparing for a fight on the bottom lane. You can see both teams want to catch one side. They want to catch the IO and the Lesh. The other one wants to catch the Dawnbreaker. Remember the start of the game, we talked about the team that is gonna be catching easier is gonna be the one at the advantage, because you have the Dawnbreaker on one side and the Lesh IO on the other. The problem is with Empire just not getting up to their strength that they should have out of a solid laning phase. Now it's HellRaisers that are catching heroes more easily than it is for the side of Empire. So that is just the reason why this game isn't looking so great for Empire, and Malady even takes a tier 2 super early on.
Oh, there might be a dive on the top lane though. Is he going to be able to get himself away? What did he steal? The Rupture comes out as well, dissimulating to the trees. He's going to be able to get himself away from the Blood Right. If he does drop the... never mind, back lines though. Midnight Pulse does come through. They're going to be able to take down the Shrek once again. The Black Hole does go through. And BKB here for Watson, chase down onto Illidan. Illidan trying to get himself through the trees. Celestial Hammer comes out. It's going to be another blood right now as well, but it looks like Illidan not going to be able to get himself away from this one. Dreamcall on the back lines as well. The BKB, the arena comes out from the Mars. Can they do the damage? It looks like it's going to be Gilgir once again. Get him caught out, but that's still a position 4. You trading off your position 1. And it looks like the Serpent Wards might still be cleaned up here from Watson. Do they want to go back into this to get the silence off? The IO can get himself away from this one as well. The Malphite comes out into the Mars. The Mars not going to be able to get himself away from this one. And once again, no Blink Dagger on this. And the BKB was already used. And this is 21 minutes in. The diver onto the tier 3 towers. James, he's looking to get himself away from this one, but the Bloodrite coming through once again. The dive in from Rebel. Rebel, can he do the damage? One more right click. The orb does clean him up. And the tier 3 tower, look at this, 21 minutes into this, and HellRaisers, you can see why they were tier 1 quality, division 1 quality in the last season. And they're just showing how far ahead at the minute they are ahead of Empire. As he looks at the run, just around, catching onto the puck, the damage though. Illidan is going to be able to chase it onto Watson. Watson can get himself away from this one. The Rupture does come through. But it looks like they might be able to take down the Void Spirit. Once again, the regen come through. Is it going to be enough damage? Malady here, with that Pulse Nova being stolen, he does get the kill once again. And now Illidan, he's looking to chase, but it looks like the TP away from Mero. Mero is going to be able to get himself away from this one. Split Earth won't connect. And it looks like Rebel, he's not done yet. Maybe he is. Okay, yeah, maybe he is. He's using the bottle charges now as well. Illidan looked pretty strong with the IO this time. And in a 1v2 situation, the puck probably doesn't get anything out of that.
The Rubik did actually try to cosplay Illidan, and wouldn't we all, but in the end, he doesn't live up to the name. Either way, HellRaisers, that is the... I'd say that is as bad as it gets for them for a fight. I'm not talking only about this high ground push. I'm talking about the whole engagement. The way that you will like to fight for HellRaisers is just stand your ground. Empire tried to go for you. You have the Solar Guardian, you have the Black Hole covering one of your cores, whoever it is, and then you win the fight. But Watson, he tries to push the issue there a little bit. In the end, it still works out for them. But as I said, Empire, they can hope for better than that. A very back and forth fight where the Dawnbreaker doesn't heal too many heroes with the Solar Guardian. That is the perfect example of a team fight that Empire can win, and they still lost it. So speaks volumes to the position that they are in right now. 6k gold lead might not be the best representation of what's actually going on in the game.
Yeah, and there's a smoke. There was a ward here spotted out Illidan as well as the IO, and you can see it was just an instant smoke rotation, but I think it might have just been underneath the Observer ward, the Dire Observer ward on the other side of the map, and you can see Illidan. But this is kind of the thing, right? The BZZ is not ever been able to give Illidan that solo farm, that solo experience coming through, because he's just had to be on his hip this entire game. Because if Illidan gets caught out, which he has been several times, that's kind of his panic button, his eject button here, is the relocate out. And you can see that HellRaisers, they've just targeted him. Illidan 2-6-2 in this game at 24 minutes. This is the person that, the player that you're expecting you to carry through into the late game. He's just not been able to get out of second gear.
Sure, but he is finally at his timing. This is the one that HellRaisers needed to fear ever since the start of the game. The Bloodstone, the Eternal Shroud, the Kayan Sange, and you have a Wisp behind you. So we talked about Empire having damage issues. Now it's HellRaisers having damage issues to finish off the Lesh as well. The problem, of course, arises that HellRaisers, if they see this, they'll just get that Scotty on the Seeker, and then it's gonna be easier to bring out the Lesh. So you just need to take it easy for a little bit, or maybe just avoid Spirit walks into you.
They've caught him out once again, in fact, because the puck was in an Invis rune. Mars might be able to get himself away from this one. The Bullwhip does come out from the Enigma as well as Satchelo. So Satchelo, he's running. He's looking to get himself away here. It is going to be a long Roshan respawn as well. Mero not going to be able to get the Malphite off, not going to be able to chase up. But Gilgir, he's just good. He's just going to be scouting through on the other side of the map. With the Void Spirit down, you do need to be careful because the puck is away from you, so you're not grouped up as HellRaisers. So Gilgir, if he gets caught out, could potentially go down once again. But James, what's he going to do? The relocate comes through as well onto the puck, but the Solar Guardian is going to be there immediately onto this. The stun comes out as well with a really good Dream Call. They get the kill onto one. Can they get the kill onto the IO now as well? It looks like they're going to be able to take him down. Telekinesis comes through onto the Leshrac, and Leshrak's not going to be able to get himself away from this one. 4 heroes dead, with the Void only just coming back up now as well. This is just HellRaisers. They are raising this hell. They are putting the pain onto Empire, and Empire, they're just crumbling at the minute.
Both of the teams now at this point in the game, they are very hard to catch out. You know, even if you would catch out the Lesh and the Wisp, if their enemies were close, if their friends were close, it would go badly for you, or as bad as it can get for the time being now for HellRaisers. But I don't know what they were thinking. They probably thought HellRaisers, they split up and they're only going to be dealing with Gilgir and Rabel, but you could see that even Gilgir and Rabel, they killed the two supports, and you only needed the help from the others to deal with the Lesh himself. So the biggest timing coming out from Empire, you don't get anything out of it. The Skadi is approaching for the Bloodseeker, so is the Roche, and that is without the Black Hole used. And one other thing that is gonna come out from HellRaisers is gonna be the Aghanim Scepter from HellRaisers. What I'd like to see from Empire is a little bit of alternative, you know, always try to catch Gilgir. If Gilgir is alive, just don't fight. I think that should be a rule for them in this game, but they're just not trying to kill him all the time. Sometimes they are hunting him, but that should be their main priority in this one.
Oh, Mars, he has to pop the BKB. Gonna get himself away from this one. There's still a lot of damage. The relocate comes out, and now this is just gonna be Mero setting up for this. You can see the portal, and these... it's not gonna be fun. Well, it's not going to be fun for Empire, but the setup here for HellRaisers. Do they want to relocate back in with the Mars? No, the Shackle's stolen by Malady as well. He's just going to be able to instantly lock down the IO. No tether. He does get a little bit away. I think if that's going to kill, they will be able to lock him down now once again. Renman comes out onto the pub, but he'll take Watson. He's ready. He wants to chase in. He's got those spider legs, and he wants to haunt the dreams of Empire. And he just carries on going. The arena's going to be there, but the Dream Coil come through now as well. Do they have the damage to take him down? Just look at the distance on these. The Shackles coming through, with the damage coming through from the Solar Bind as well. They take down 2, make it 3, and now they can go into a tier 2. Go back for Roche if they want to as well.
This is a point in the game where HellRaisers, even if they were losing with these kind of items, you'd still be fine. This was the timing that they were looking for, and they got to it super early on with Empire not having anything to fight back, and it's showing in fights. HellRaisers can just walk in. Empire, they have to use their spells defensively to get themselves out, and then the second round of a fight will go inverse. This is, mind you, again, without the Black Hole being used. Miero, he deems Empire not worthy of his spell any longer, and we'll see if maybe the challenge is not using it until the end of the game. And Empire, they know if they lose this Roche, the game is over, so they have to run in. This is the one last hurrah that probably isn't going to work out, but let's see. Let's not jinx it for them.
Yeah, let's see what they can do, because Illidan's going to be able to see Gilgir. Gilgir doesn't get himself down to the low ground with the hammer. Oh, can he step in onto this? He might be able to come in with Illidan. He wants to get in. The Roshan is pretty down low. The Red Pack's down, though. Can they go through? There's going to be a Blink Black Hole available if they get the lockdown. They can get the lockdown with the Shackles onto Illidan, and Illidan can get himself away from this one. Big Black Hole onto 2. Immediately cancelled up by the Hex. There is still going to be the Soul Cannon coming through. Rebel on the backline takes down Squad. Can they take down Illidan? No, Illidan's still surviving, still regenerating through this. He might be able to turn him around onto the Enigma. The Enigma, though, James is going to be able to take him down by Watson. Can they get Illidan away from this? They can. The IO goes down. One by one, they will fall. Satchlo, GG's just going to be called. 29 minutes. Not even breaking the 30-minute barrier here for Empire. HellRaisers take game number 1.
Yep, they do, and in a very convincing fashion. They knew what they needed to do from start to finish. You know, Empire, they had a few good moves going for Gilgir, but as soon as they stopped focusing down the Dawnbreaker, you could see that they were lacking damage. They understood they needed to fight, but they just didn't understand the amount of heals that this Dawnbreaker is gonna bring in. And also going for a mech, something that we don't see too often, but a really cool item choice coming out from Gilgir. He knew he couldn't get the axe that fast. The mech is the second best thing, and you know, just preventing your heroes from dying in those kind of scenarios, it is what won them the game. Though Team Empire being a bit stubborn, I'm hoping that once you see something isn't working, you kind of swap it up and attempt something else in the other portions of the game. But HellRaisers showing class here once again, and it seems like they're back here, Rob.
Yeah, we talked about it before, and we've seen Knoxville tweeting about it as well, that in the second tour, obviously with the current world issues, that the tour 2 was just a straight playoff bracket, and it wasn't great for HellRaisers. They lost a couple of games. You know, they lost, I think it was Spirit in the lower bracket they went out to. And that was kind of, you know, you're losing either HellRaisers or Spirit down to Division 2. And they are climbing their way back up, and you can see the quality in that last match. They just are super, super impressive. You know, they've got that synergy back. They're building back towards it. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them go straight back up into the first division for the next tour coming through after TI next season. And in fact, you know, I don't want to give them the early caster's curse, but I am anyway. And You're saying that obviously there's the regional qualifiers coming up for TI. There's the last chance qualifiers that come up for TI as well. And I would expect them to make a good run. Okay, they've still got to be coming up against teams like One Move that might not make it, Navi that might not make it. You've got the outsiders that they've got to come up against as well. But the Eastern European region, we've seen watching the D2CL, watching the DPC throughout the past couple of tours. It's super, super competitive. And on the day, anybody can make it.
Yeah, they definitely have a chance, though. I don't know if you followed the interview that me and Panda did with Watson. He said that they were surprised with the Tour 2. He was playing CSGO for the time being, and then they're like, okay, you need to play. So he said we were really out of form, so we deserved to drop down. Now it's time for us to get back in, and they're saying that they're preparing for every single team, and we can see preparation working out last series, and it's definitely working at the start of this one.
Yeah, and speaking about getting back in, we're going to be taking a quick break before we get back into game number 2 in the series. So guys, come back in about 10 minutes, get yourself something to eat, get yourself something to drink, and we'll see if HellRaisers, can they bring this momentum through, or Empire, can they turn it around? We'll find out after the break. We'll see you guys then.